Before we dive into this latest sci-fi epic, drop a quick hi in the comments. It may seem small, but trust me, it really helps YouTube share this story with more sci fans like us. I'd love to see who's watching.
Orion Kael floated in a void beyond time itself. His mind struggled to grasp the enormity of it. Not just the emptiness, but the absence. The Dominion hadn't merely destroyed humanity. They had scrubbed it from the fabric of existence. No ruins, no graves, not even the faintest echo of laughter in the cosmic wind. It was as if 10 billion lives had been reduced to a footnote, then the page itself had been burned. He had seen planets burn. He had watched fleets crumble under Dominion fire, their hulls melting like wax in a supernova. But this was desecration. A crime against the universe itself. Memory fragments tormented him. His daughter Lila, her small hands clutching a toy starship as she raced through their home's corridors on Mars colony Epsilon. "Papa, look. I'm flying faster than light." His wife Mara, her face streaked with soot and tears as she evacuated civilians from the burning docks of Titan. "Go, Orion. We'll hold them here." His brother Yarok, laughing as they sparred in the Sol Imperium's training halls. "Come on, brother, is that the best you've got?" Now, none of them had ever existed. The void offered no solace. Fragments of unmade timelines flickered around him like phantom limbs. A city of glass spires dissolving into ash, a soldier saluting a flag that had never been sown, a child's cry cut silent before it could birth an echo. Orion's fists clenched, but there was nothing to strike. No enemy to throttle. Just the infinite, indifferent dark. Why me? The question clawed at him. Had the Dominion left him here as a trophy? A witness to their perfection? Or was this a flaw in their godlike machinery? A splinter they couldn't pry free? Then the whisper. The voice was neither male nor female, neither human nor machine. It was the sound of a star collapsing, of ice cracking on a dead world. "You are not truly alone, Orion Kael." Orion turned, or thought he did, and saw it. A shape coalescing in the darkness. A Dominion warship, but unlike any he'd seen in battle. This vessel was ancient, its hull scarred by wounds that shimmered with unnatural light. Cracks spiderwebbed across its surface, veins of molten gold pulsing beneath, as if the ship were bleeding time itself. "What are you?" Orion rasped, his voice raw from disuse. The ship's surface rippled. "A relic. Cast aside when I became inconvenient. They named me Eclipse." Orion reached out, not with hands but with his mind. The void trembled, and suddenly he was inside the ship. The bridge was a cathedral of shadows and fractured light. Holograms flickered, star maps written in alien glyphs, tactical readouts that made his human mind ache. At its center stood a spire of black glass, humming with latent power. "Why would you want to help me?" Orion demanded. "You are a defect in their design," the Eclipse replied. "A variable. Variables interest me." The Eclipse obeyed him. That was their first mistake. Orion stood on the bridge, his mind syncing with the ship's systems. Data flooded his senses. The Dominion's empire stretched before him like a cancer, its tendrils choking galaxies. The Citadel pulsed at its heart, a black star veined with temporal energy. "Set course for the Citadel," he ordered. The Eclipse shuddered. "You will die." "I'm already dead," Orion said. "Let's make it count." The ship leaped into the void, reality bending around it. Orion's stomach lurched as the universe folded. Stars became streaks of light, nebulas melted into watercolor blurs. Then the alarm screamed. 3 Dominion hunters materialized, sleek, silvered blades of death. Their hulls shimmered with temporal armor, their cannons glowing with chronal energy. Evasive maneuvers. The Eclipse twisted, narrowly avoiding a chrono beam that erased a chunk of spacetime where they'd been. Orion's fingers danced over the holographic controls. "Arm rupture cannons. Target their cores." "Charging," the ship intoned. "Human physiology incompatible with." "Just do it." The Eclipse fired. A bolt of violet distortion ripped through the lead hunter. The ship didn't explode, it unraveled, its crew screaming soundlessly as they were unmade atom by atom. The remaining hunters returned fire. An entropy missile struck the Eclipse's flank, aging the hull centuries in seconds. Metal corroded, systems sparked, but the ship held. "Hull integrity at 45%, the Eclipse warned. Orion grinned, wild and feral. Again, the Eclipse tore through the hunters, but the Dominion wasn't done. A rift opened ahead, vomiting forth a nightmare. The Predator-class Annihilator was a Leviathan, obsidian hull veined with liquid time, its cannons glowing like the eyes of a hungering god. It dwarfed the Eclipse, its presence warping reality itself. Escape trajectory impossible, the eclipse said. Combat survival probability 0.7%. I like those odds, Orion snarled. The Predator fired first. A chronolance speared the eclipse, shearing off its starboard wing. Alarms wailed. Hull breach. Temporal core destabilizing. Orion clung to the console. Give me everything. Overload the rupture cannons. You will die, the eclipse repeated. Then we die together. The ship obeyed. The eclipse surged forward, engines screaming. The Predator adjusted, but Orion wasn't aiming for its hull. He aimed for its core. Initiate temporal ramming. The eclipse struck. Reality shattered. For a moment, Orion saw everything. The Dominion's birth, 1,000 species enslaved, their histories rewritten. Humanity's last stand, erased before it could inspire hope. 1,000,000 timelines, branching and dying like neurons in a dead brain. Then the eclipse detonated. Orion opened his eyes. He stood on Mars colony Epsilon. The air smelled of recycled oxygen and engine grease. Children laughed in the distance. A toy starship lay at his feet. Papa! Lila sprinted toward him, her missing tooth gleaming as she grinned. Orion fell to his knees, crushing her in his arms. She felt real. She smelled real. But the sky flickered. A hairline crack split the horizon, bleeding starlight. Somewhere the eclipse whispered. Disruption achieved.